Hey guys, this is Two Communications, and welcome to my review of I had a different movie in my hand. So let's get ready to watch it. It's another John Woo flick. It also starts with the word hard, but this is my review of Hard Boiled. This is an action movie I'd never actually seen all the way through until just right now when I'm doing this review. Just literally just got done watching it, and I the critics are right. Everybody who talks about this movie and says it's an action masterpiece is right on the money. This movie was fucking badass. um, well worth the $3 I paid for this DVD. That's for sure. Now, I'm more familiar with John Woo's American stuff. I'm not really that familiar with his stuff that he did in China, his Chinese stuff, and Hong Kong cinema. I'm more familiar with stuff like Hard Target, Broken Arrow, Face Off. So, but I'd heard so much about this movie, and this movie is considered one of the greatest action movies of all time. And I'm a big action movie guy, big fan of action movies. So I'm like, I gotta check it out sometime. So I checked it out, and I highly enjoyed this movie. It was funny, like I did try out the English dub. The English dub is horrible. So I only tried out the English dub like a little bit, then I'm like, this is terrible. This makes the movie look like a complete joke. So then I went back to the actual Cantonese dubbing. And what I find funny, the Cantonese, the real dub. It's not really a dub, it's the Cantonese audio, the original audio. And what I find funny is that in this movie, there's a lot of scenes where they talk in Cantonese, the characters in this film, but then there's random words that aren't Cantonese. They're English. So they speak Cantonese for the most part, but there's a few lines where they say it in English, like, uh, please, thank you, or stuff that, one of them, there's a swear word in one of them, and I just thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, Hard Boiled's a 1992 film. It's directed by John Woo. This is one of the films that pretty much he did The Killer in 1989. I haven't seen that one yet. I'll check that one out sometime too. Um, this is the one that really put him on Killer. I think The Killer started to put him on the map, but Hard Boiled really put him on the map, put him way up in the stratosphere. This film was definitely inspired a lot of American action movies, a lot of the way that's shot, a lot of the action scenes. Um, Mainly, it's a movie that you watch for the action. You don't want to watch it for the acting, but the acting is solid enough. I mean, Chow Yun-fat does an excellent job as uh, Tequila Yen. Um, a few other actors do their parts. I like the guy who plays. He's the undercover triad guy, Alan Tony Chui Leung. I thought he did a really good job. I thought the guy played the villain, Johnny Wong, Anthony Wong, Chow Song did a good job as well. Mad Dog, played by Phillip Kwok. I like that character. Teresa Mo wasn't that bad either as Teresa Chang. Philip Chan did a decent job as basically Sergeant Pang. That one says Souped Pang, which I don't. It's probably a Chinese thing. I have no idea. Um, yeah, hard boiled though. Excuse me. Is this the whole? Is this? I'm still like in shock. Like, I'm still like reeling after watching this movie. It's just an absolute thrill ride of a film. Just excellent, top notch movie. But it also actually is not just like I said, you watch it for the action, but it's not just an action movie. I mean, it's not just simply an action film, just nothing but action. I think the direction is really excellent by John Woo. I like the soundtrack, I like the score, I like the music, especially the main little bit of the main theme that's repeated throughout the whole movie, the sort of action theme. I really like that theme. And the story, I like the story. I think the story does a good job. It has a little bit of a twist and turn to it. It does a good job. You think Alan is the bad guy, but no, he really isn't. He's an undercover triad. He's an undercover cop trying, to get into the triad and trying to figure out what's going on. The movie has balls of steel. The whole climax takes place in a hospital, and everyone's getting freaking slaughtered. Innocent people, patients, doctors, cops, gangsters, everybody's fair game. And that really makes the villains even more despicable. And it also makes the movie even more thrilling to watch because there's no prisoners here. There's no not holding anything back. And the idea of having his arms, his arms cache hidden underneath the hospital is actually a pretty good one too. And I like little other sort of touches the film has, where Alan has his sort of calling card. Calling card is he makes little paper cranes to represent each person that he's killed, and I like little bits of dialogue, that Chow Yun-fat has with Alan. When Alan says that he wants to go to Antarctica, and Chow Yun-fat is like, "Well, you want to go to Antarctica? It's freezing cold over there." It's like, "Well, it's always light. It's light all the time, and over there, it's there's no. It'd be nice to get away from all this darkness." I like that line of dialogue. It's a nice little sort of, I don't know, little bit of philosophy right there. It's a nice little bit of wisdom there, and I like some of the few lines of dialogue. There's a few stuff like, funny lines that are interspersed throughout the film here and there. I like the scene where this guy is being an ass. This one of the killer guys. She slapped him earlier. "You're making too much noise. You're scaring the babies." Bitch slaps this killer, and then later, Teresa, the guy shows up again and he's shooting people in nursery and making things tough, and he calls her a bitch. He's like, "Bitch!" And then she just shoots his ass. I like that scene. But anyway, yeah, the whole scene, even babies are in danger. There's this whole sort of sequence, during the whole shootout in the hospital. People are getting shot right and left. There's explosions and stuff. There's the bad guys are taking bazookas and blowing up cars outside police cars outside the hospital, and they're like taking all the babies, and they're taking the babies, down, repelling. You have these SWAT team guys, pretty much. China's version of Hong Kong's version of the SWAT team, and they're repelling with these babies down the side of the building, and SWAT guys are getting shot, and babies are in danger, but ultimately all the babies make it out all right. Even the last one, which has Chow Yun-fat's character Tequila, has a baby at the end, and I like the line, the little song nursery rhyme he's singing to the baby. And I like the artistic choice by John Woo to make the sound of the film just go silent for a little bit while he's trying to calm the baby down. Pretty much it goes silent as soon as he puts the last cotton ball on the baby's ear. For a little bit of running time, the sound goes silent. And then he's singing this little nursery rhyme to the baby and shooting all these bad guys. And he's all like, I'm not much of a singer. I'm sorry." It was like bang, 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 bang. It was just there's just a lot of gunfights in this firefights. The whole hospital, shootout is one of the best I've ever seen on film. Period, and it lives up to its billing. Trust me. There's blood, there's squibs, there's practical. People are getting shot right and left, ingenious different ways. It's just, Chow Yun-fat's going around with a shotgun, blowing these bad guys in half, blowing holes through them. There were bullet holes this big in these people, this big, and it's just a blast to watch that hospital sequence. And there's other stuff too, like there's a little bit of a well shot shootout in the beginning in this uh, restaurant, and Chow Yun-fat realizes that these guys are trying to smuggle some guns at the restaurant, and I like that little bit of shootout too. That's a nice, fun shootout and well choreographed. And he ends up shooting a cop by accident, and and then he feels bad about it later. And I like the whole scene I like how that's referenced later in the film, where Alan feels bad that he shot a cop, and Chow Yun-fat's trying to tell him it wasn't a cop. Come on, you can't let your fears bring you down, man. And then later on, he's like, "Yeah, yeah, it was a cop." He's like, "What? It was a cop? What?" And I didn't mind that. There's a little bit of sort of, humorous moments here and there. I like how when Alan goes in at the end to go after the bad guy, Johnny, while the whole place is blowing up because it's rigged with C4 and it's blowing, it's just literally just detonating all over the place. It's it's literally it's literally a death trap right now. And he's running, he's going after Johnny Wong, and I like how Chow Yun-fat just like after he says, I gotta do this, I have to do this. And as he runs after Johnny Wong, and then I love Chow Yun-fat's reaction. He's like, bullshit! Bullshit! You don't. So he goes in after him. And so yeah, that's pretty much kind of the culmination of the whole shootout in the hospital. There's a few other action sequences. There's a fun sequence of a raid that happens where Alan sets up this raid at this drug bust at this drug dealer's hideout, and that's actually this character named Uncle Uncle Hoi, played by Hoi-San Kwan, and Alan was working for him, and now he's double crossing him to try to get to Johnny Wong. He's gonna work for Johnny Wong, and he sets up the raid on Uncle Hoy's hideout. There's a lot of gunplay, people getting fucked up right and left with bullets. It's really, really awesome. And then Chow Yun-fat shows up later, and he rappels down into the hideout and starts fucking up people right and left with a shotgun. That was really awesome. I mean, anytime Chow Yun-fat's Tequila's got a shotgun, it's really some good times. I also like the scene, the stuff leading up to the hospital shootout, where they're trying to protect this guy named Foxy, who's a police informant, who's a friend of Tequila's, and I like how this definitely Terminator. I think this is the film's reference to Terminator 2. As a kid, because Alan comes and smuggles in some guns into the hospital and a box of roses. So I think I think it's this film's homage, John Woo's homage to T2, and it handles it pretty well. Mad Dog, I like that character a lot. Actually, I like the way he's literally will not go down. He's a slippery motherfucker. Like, do you think you got him? No. And there's a really lot of entertaining shootouts with that character. He's got an eye patch. I think it's because John Woo fucked him up pretty bad. And I mean, not John Woo. Well, John Woo did because he asked for his character to get fucked up. His eye messed up and burnt. But that's what happened. He was in the drug bust scene. He was in the raid scene. And Chow Yun-fat Tequila came in and fucked him up. And he survives, though. And he joins in with Johnny Wong. And he ends up trying. He eventually kills Foxy. He slits his throat with a scalpel, and I like the shot where he slits his throat and just a splat of a splatter of blood just splatters on the window, and right in the same room where this nurse is working on helping some guy, poor guy, and she doesn't notice it. And I just like the way that it's shot. It's very well done, and like the whole movie is. If there's one thing I might have a problem with the way it's shot is the overuse of slow mo at moments where it just slows down and then starts back up again, slows down for like 5 seconds and then it goes back to normal speed. I don't know what John Woo was thinking with that style. I don't. And then the kind of transitions that look like Windows Movie Maker wipes, it, and this sort of kind of a little bit of the artsy sort of stuff. I kind of prefer it just to be straightforward and just, you know, a bunch of, more just regular action choreography. But at the same time, I don't mind it because it makes the film unique, and it really does. You know, it it's it gives John Woo his own personal stamp to the film. So I don't really mind. At the end of the day, I don't really mind it. It's just some of it's kind of the slow mo stuff. I really didn't really care for. The wipes and stuff, I'm okay with it. At the end of the day, it's just something I noticed. And so, as you can see, I'm not really talking about the plot. I mean, the plot is pretty much, who cares about the plot? It's all about the action scenes. No, I mean, like I said, it's got a good decent plot. Uh, Tequila plays his character, John Woo, not John Woo. Fuck. Chow Yun-fat, John Woo directed the movie. He does not star in the film. Um, Chow Yun-fat had previously worked with director John Woo in several of his other films, including A Better Tomorrow, The Killer, and Once a Thief. And so pretty much the whole film, the whole plot is trying to track down Johnny Wong, this he's the biggest drug dealer, gangster guy in town, and trying to track him down pretty much. And Chow Yun Fat Tequila teams up with Alan, this undercover cop who's working for Johnny Wong, to take him down. And this leads to an absolutely fantastic shootout in the hospital. I mean, really, it's a very simple plot. It's not hard to follow at all. And there's just a lot of shootouts, a lot of gunplay, a lot of bullets being fired from guns. There's even a really imaginative scene where Chow Yun Fat and Tequila and Alan end up using gunpowder in an ingenious way to try to open a door so they can get into the secret arms cache where they set it up underneath the hospital. So they're trying to get through the door to get into the arms cache. And I like the way that they do it. They pull off the top of the bullets and they use the gunpowder, and Chow Yun Fat puts a bullet in the hole in a hole where he took out the screw on this pipe that's leading up into the door. So he thinks that's going to be the wiring, which is going to be able to open the door. So he shoots the bullet, ignites the gunpowder, blows up the pipe, fucks up the wires, but it does nothing. And I like that touch. It doesn't do anything. So now Alan ends up pretty much risking its life and takes one wire from another area and hooks them together and electrocutes himself pretty much to open the door. And Chow Yun Fat is pissed. He's like, "Damn it, bullshit! Don't! Why'd you do that? You stupid!" So he brings him back to life though. He pounds him in the chest, brings him back to life, so he can go along with him to this awesome, you know, excellent journey of bloodshed and violence in the hospital. And literally, like, it is just amazing. There's just so much action in the last 20 minutes. Literally this movie saves the best for last. There's some good action sequences already leading up to before the hospital shootout that in my opinion are better than any action sequence I've seen in any action movie this year, that's for sure. And so you have the whole thing where it goes in, you have the little bit of the shootout in the tea house in the beginning. You have, which actually I like the little touch where one of the bad guys, he ends up using a dead body as a shield, which is maybe it's another homage. John Woo's doing a homage to Paul Verhoeven for Total Recall. I don't know, but I just always like seeing that. Not because I'm a sicko, it's just I like that idea. I think it's an inventive idea to use a dead body as a shield, and in an action film, and doesn't mean that much. And I like the way it's shot too, where Chow Yun Fat's character, his partner, gets shot to fucking shreds, and he gets covered in flour and ends up blowing the bad guy's head off, who shot his friend, and blood splatters on his face. And the blood stands out a lot more because he's covered in white powder. I like that touch. So the tea house shootout, you have that scene. You have the raid shootout. You have another shootout at Alan's boat, which is pretty well done. And you have a little bit of sort of suspense sort of stuff going on in the hospital, but not really a shootout just yet. It's getting there. But then, as soon as Alan, and even it hasn't really gotten that point yet either. They found their way into the arms cache, but they really don't get into much of a shootout. I mean, they get a little bit of fight with Mad Dog, and he kicks both their asses and escapes and leaves them in there. And Johnny Wong turns on the gas and he's gonna blow them sky high. But then they figure out a way to get out of the basement and back into the morgue. And I like the line Alan has, or Chow Yun Fat's like, "This is the morgue." It's like, yeah, well, if we don't make it, they can just throw us in there, no problem. just throws a grenade into the they set up. I think they set up some C4. Throw a grenade. Boom! Blows up the back wall. They slide out on morgue. The morgue tables. The ones that the sliding morgue trays, and just up these guys. Johnny Fat's got a shotgun, blowing these guys away. And later in the film, Alan actually, takes out one of these, one of the bad guys, one of the gangster guys who's dressed up as one of the security guys for the place, for the hospital, takes and puts on his uniform, and he's got a hostage with Chow and Fat, and he gets him to tells him to get down, and Chow and Fat that brings out the shotgun and just fucks up everybody. It's just, I mean, I'm not. You need to see this. If you haven't seen Hard Boiled yet, you need to see it. You need to see this movie. I mean, it's just a great action film, and I also like a little bit of the quirkiness too. Like I said, a few funny lines of dialogue, the stuff with the baby at the end, and I also like this sort of touch where earlier in the film they're trying to figure out what's going on. They're trying to figure out how to get to Johnny Wong, and this guy Alan keeps sending messages to the police chief, to Peng, played by Phillip Chan, through these flowers that he sends to Teresa, these white roses, which he thinks they're for her, but really they're not. They're for Chan, and he keeps sending him messages with these words that he then translates into musical notes. And I think it's like music lyrics, and it translates in musical notes, and these musical notes then translate into a secret message. And I like that. I think that's a really kind of ingenious idea. It's one of the few. There's a lot of that in this movie. It's definitely very inventive. It's definitely very original. It's definitely very fresh. Even now, and in 2014, it feels really fresh. It definitely is not dated at all. Not even remotely close to that. So a lot of action films could learn from this movie. There's no shaky cam in this movie. There's no shaky cam in the action sequences in this movie. There's none of that shit. It's the camera is straight and the action sequences are beyond epic. So fuck you and the shaky cam. Stop it already. Go back and watch Hard Boiled, movie producers, and do action like this again. Fuck shaky cam. Anyway, I just had to do that. I mean, this movie just does such an excellent job with the action sequences, and it doesn't have shaky cam, so there's no reason to have fucking shaky cam. But anyway, Alan and Tequila, they get in and they fuck all these guys up, and it's literally just absolute insanity. This hospital shootout. It's like nobody is, like I said before, they take no prisoners. Innocent people are getting shot to shreds. Cops are getting shot to shreds. Cops are getting blown up, and it is a lot of fun to watch. It really is. It's very entertaining, and culminates in this somehow, some ways, Alan and Tequila make it out, and they fuck up all these guys, and Mad Dog actually ends up being killed by Johnny Wong because Mad Dog has a conscience. Isn't that different? He's a gangster. He's a ruthless criminal, but even he is like, you're going too far, man. You're killing innocent people. You don't have to do this. And he's like, I kill anyone who gets in my way, but this is too far. They're innocent. And he's like, oh, psh, screw you, and he shoots him. So he kills Mad Dog, and because he kills anyone who gets in his way, and like the whole sort of, like I said, the shootout stuff involved with what happens is there's something going on with the nursery, and they can't really repel any more of the babies out of the hospital because a lot of them, the SWAT guys, are dead because they got shot trying to and bring the babies to safety. And so you have the whole sort of thing where Tequila decides, because his woman is there too, So he decides, I'm going to go off and I'm going to take care of the nursery. Can you take care of Mad Dog? And that was actually the whole thing where he had a fun shootout between Alan and Mad Dog, which ultimately Mad Dog doesn't get shot by. Actually, it looks like it's going to end well. They realize that they're in a room full of innocent people, and they both put their guns down, and Mad Dog is actually trying to get the innocent people out. He's letting Alan tell the nurse to get the innocent people out, and then Johnny Wong shows up and is an asshole and literally murders everybody. He shoots all the innocent people, and then that's when Mad Dog has a bone to pick with him, and he gets shot. And Johnny Wong's got like a grenade launcher, and he's like blowing walls up and shit, chasing after Alan. And yeah, and then you have Tequila goes into the nursery to help with the babies, and his woman, she gets the safety of one of the babies, and she gets shot at, but she doesn't get hurt, but she manages to get out and get on the ground safely. Johnny Wong's ready to blow up the whole hospital, sets all these C4 explosives, wired ready to blow the place sky high, and that's the whole stuff where Alan then goes in after Johnny Wong, and now somehow Tequila's got to find a way to get out of this, hospital that's literally blowing up with every step he takes. And I like the way he comes up with the idea. He rips this electric cord, this electrical wiring off the side of the building, and there's just fires just engulfing and just going all over the place. And he's running with the baby with the wire, and he's trying. And he goes up to the window, and he's like his legs are on fire. It's like trying to put him out. And then it looks like it's a miracle. Like, oh, God has come and saved the day. The fire's put out, but actually it's the baby. The baby actually peed on him, and it put out the fire. And he's like, oh, you little stinker. But thank you. You picked a good time to pee on me. That's not really what he said. That's not the exact lines of dialogue because I don't really remember it, but you get the gist of it. And then he jumps out the window, holding on to the wire. Kind of maybe it's John Woo's homage to John McTiernan in Die Hard, with John McClane and the fire hose. And he holds on to it. The building explodes behind him. He lands safely. And Alan's still in the building. You think he died heroically, but no. Actually, what happens is Johnny Wong comes out. He's got Alan, and he's holding him hostage, asking all the cops outside the hospital put their weapons down. And Tequila, he grabs a gun, and he's not gonna do it. He's gonna fuck this. I'm not putting my weapons down. I'm gonna shoot this guy. But then he realizes the situation he's in, and he starts succumbing to Johnny Wong's demands, and it's humiliation. He's just humiliating Tequila. He's asking him to slap himself, slap yourself in the face, and slap the other cheek, just like Jesus says. And he's like, and it's like, say I'm impotent. Says, I'm impotent. Now, kneel, kneel, and now take your pants off. And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. And then that's where Alan's had enough. And he says this, and it's actually not Alan, it's Tony. Alan was his friend, and I've gotten the name wrong the whole goddamn review because fucking IMDb doesn't put his name. Oh, it is Tony Leung. He does play a character named Alan, I think. I don't think I got it wrong. No, I didn't get it wrong. Fuck you, Wikipedia. Wikipedia is the one that's fucking things up. I guess his name is Alan, but really it's Tony. I guess it's Tony. His character is Tony. Then why is his name Alan on IMDb? I'm looking at IMDb, so it's either IMDb or Wikipedia's fault. Fuck it. Alan, Tony. He's played by Tony Leung. Tony Leung. So, fuck it. I got part of it right. Anyway, Tony, Alan, whoever it is, the undercover cop, he sees that his newfound friend and Tequila's getting embarrassed, and is asking him to literally even Johnny Wong says, why I wouldn't miss the opportunity to fuck with this guy, fuck with you, come on, and he ends up Okay, that's enough. You're gonna ask him to take his pants off? No. And he ends up actually shooting himself to give him the upper hand, that make it so the Kilo can pick up his gun and blow Johnny Wong's ass away. And awesome way. He shoots, he shoots him one time, and then he just aims for his eye and shoots him right in the fucking eye. Just boom, and you see it. You see it's practical. It's a practical headshot. You see blood spurt from his eye. It's glorious. He falls down dead, and the movie makes you think that Tony or Alan is actually dead, but really he isn't. Actually, it's just a way to burn. They burn his identity away so he can go off and sail away to Antarctica, I guess, and get away from all this and get away from all the darkness. I like the way that it did that. It could have just easily had him dead, but the film decided no. We're going to Tony and slash Alan, played by Tony Leung, is still alive, and then you get the end credits, and such a fucking badass movie. I mean, I really don't know what to say about Hard Boiled, except it's an excellent film. I don't necessarily agree with Empire saying it's more exciting than it does in Die Hard's. That's doing the disservice to Die Hard. But I do have to say that this is one of the best action movies I've seen. This is definitely one of my favorites now, and it's up there with that. It's on par with Die Hard. It's not better than Die Hard. It's on par with Die Hard. In my opinion, it's kind of hard to be better than Die Hard. I mean, that's one of the best action movies of all time. And but being on par with it, that's hard too. But not hard for Hard Boiled, because it's on par with Die Hard in every way. Action, good fun sense of humor, likable characters, excellent direction. It's a great pacing too for a movie that's a little bit over 2 hours. Same goes for Die Hard. I mean, the shootout at the end, maybe the whole shootout's maybe only the whole everything's going crazy is maybe 10-15 minutes, 10-15 minutes, maybe even less than that. But it feels like it's a whole movie. Like it literally is so full, so chock full of action. Time. I'm literally looking at the clock and I'm like, it's only 4 minutes. Damn. This feels like it's going on forever, and I don't want it to stop anyway. So keep going up the ante, and it does. It just when you think it cannot possibly get even more action into this 10 or 15 minutes or so at the end of the movie, it just keeps on doing it, and that's a great action film. It's just any point where it can raise the bar and deliver more action, it does. And yeah, I agree. The action sequences are among the greatest ever filmed. Definitely. Hold on to your seats from Premiere Magazine. Definitely. This is an excellent film. I'm kind of like, why did I watch this? Why did I wait until now to watch this? I should have been watching this years before. Years before, just now. Come on. But anyway, really don't know what else to say because it was a rate Hard Boiled out of 5 stars. 5 out of 5. Right to the fucking stratosphere. 2 thumbs up. If I could give it's perfect. Perfect marks. Like I said, on par with Die Hard. I have nothing wrong with there's except for the little bit of the slow-mo, but then it still doesn't bother me. I literally don't find anything wrong with this movie. It's violent, it's bloody, it's action-packed, it's thrilling, it's exciting, but most importantly, it's also a lot of fun to watch. It's entertaining. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's not pretentious. It has some moments where it's kind of being kind of artsy, but it's never pretentious. It knows what types of movie it is. It knows it is an action movie. It's not a drama. It's not anything like that. It's not trying to be Christopher Nolan. It's just trying to be its own thing. John Woo's just doing what he does best, and that's action. And man, that man deserves to do some more action movies in America. Fuck yeah. Why the fuck is he not directing? Come on. Why are you having Olivia Megaton directing Taken 3? John Woo should be directing Taken 3, not Olivia Megaton. Megaton of shit. Anyway, John Woo deserves to do more. more at films like Hard Boiled, and as many as he wants, in my opinion, either in either in Hong Kong or China or in America. It doesn't matter. This man should not be out of work. That's bullshit. And yeah, Hard Boiled. This fucking Hard Boiled is just a badass movie. Anyway, thanks for watching my review of Hard Boiled, and I will see you guys later. See ya.